What is going on, Sports Game Vision world? You are now tuned into the sounds of the No Face Sports Show. It's your host Hank at Sports Game Vision, and again, we're doing the No Face Sports Show again on the platform. As you can see, a few things to talk about. You got the Trae from Trae Young, and you got the GOAT debate, brought to you by my OG Isiah Thomas of the Detroit Bad Boy Pistons, and a couple random topics if we get a chance to. I don't want to hold you guys long. Hope you're having a great day. It's a Friday. Again, sports coming on, and you got, as you can see in the graph too, the college football playoffs and who's going to be the national champion, right? But to start this off, shocking but not shocking trade as we're going to move into talking about the NBA. We seen happen a day ago or so. Our guy Trae Young finally gets out of Atlanta. He gets traded to the Washington Wizards, which is pretty shocking to a team that he wanted to go to and where the Hawks sent him to. He got traded in the middle of a game. That has happened before. I heard, what was it talking about? I forgot about it. Jason Kidd got traded in the middle of a game back in Dallas in the 90s with that whole Tony Braxton fiasco that went on with Jimmy and Jamal and him, which Tony, I think she confirmed that it wasn't true, but either way, it caused a rift in the team. He got traded. But this time, the rift in the team was Trae Young. You know, they're not winning with him. They're putting labels on him as a pretty much a not a cancer, but not a person that a team can win with. And he got traded. The Washington Wizards, the GM, I believe, is the same person that drafted him. So it made a good pathway for him to go there. And he's probably going to get an extension at some point. He's going somewhere where he can get his money. But we do know that his trade value has gone down over the last few years. He cannot make the All-Star game consistently, even though he probably should. His numbers is definitely there. He's always in the top in points and assists as a point guard. And honestly, he has led this team to the playoffs quite a few times. They talk about his defense. The guy is a pretty, small player considering going against these other players, but I always felt he delivered on the other end. He's definitely a clutch player. And unfortunately, he's hurt this year, so he really didn't get a full grasp of him. But I think this kind of trade has been in the works for a while now because they're moving on with their new players, the young guys that are, going there, actually doing pretty good this year. They've got Nikhil from Minnesota, Alexander, the Jalen. He's doing well as well, the young fella, and they're trying, and Shea. They're all trying to. The Atlanta Hawks are moving into a different direction, and Trae wasn't a part of it. But I don't think his value is down. I mean, it is down, but I do think he's still a good player. As you can look here, he leads the franchise in assists and assists per game, 3 points, 3-pointers. He's led the team first in playoffs, points per game. You can see the list there and read through it. But the main thing I want to bring up is all the negative that they've talked about Trae Young. Again, he took the team to an Eastern Conference Finals when they weren't supposed to be there. And if you remember his play, he was clutch. He can definitely play at a high level. And I think that on a right team or right roster, he can elevate it. And I kept comparing him to AI in a sense, kept saying over the summer, over these past few years, that they build around him the right pieces, he can lead them deep. Now, of course, he has to be available, but I felt with his clutch play that he definitely can lead the team in the right direction. As far as the defense, all you can do is give effort. You can't go out there and be a cone, but you got to give effort on defense, especially for a smaller guy. The other players are probably going to be taller than you anyway. They can rise up above you. You just got to play tough defense and give effort. And I think the smaller guys, Davion Mitchell is in the league right now. Other players, who else was it? Is there smaller guys that could play defense, but you got to be committed. And of course, some people have more talent than others when it comes to that. But Drew, I don't think Drew is that tall either. But Drew Holiday, but Trae offensively and as far as setting up his players and his teammates, he's one of the best in the league at doing that. I think they had a chart since 2018. He has assisted the most for his teammates. They scored a lot, so he's at the top of the list up there with Luka Doncic, who he got traded for in their draft. And it's weird that both of these guys got traded for almost nothing. Now, I'm not saying Anthony Davis is not nothing, but when you trade Luka Doncic, you think that you'd get a lot of picks. When you trade Trae Young, you think you'd get something more too than what you got. Especially he does have some achievements. He's a 4-time All-Star, I believe. Again, like I said, he led Atlanta to the playoffs quite a few times, and they went to the conference championship. So I do think he could be an asset. He's probably going to sit the rest of the year, as they're saying. They're trying to kind of tank to get draft picks and protect their pick. I think if it goes beyond a certain point, that they'll lose it in a trade swap. But I think that if they put the roster behind him in Washington, and they do have a few good pieces in there, he can help elevate that team to at least get back to playing good basketball. The last iteration was John Wall and Bradley Beal. And of course, before that, it was, Gilbert. And then before that, it was Chris Webber and Juwan Howard in them. So try to put them in a good position to win again. It'll be good to see. Now, for Atlanta's case, they might be trying to go after Anthony Davis. And I thought that Trae would be part of that deal because of the money he makes, but I guess not. So Anthony Davis on Atlanta would be quite an interesting look. And as you can see, CJ is on that picture as well. Another reason why they traded him from the Washington Wizards, they said, is because he was winning too much, and CJ had some ball games out there. I think he dropped a couple 40 balls. So yeah, they don't want to win too much, and that's another reason why they got rid of him. And then Trae Young is injured right now, so he has an excuse to kind of sit out. So they're going to play. Hate to see teams not play to win, but they're doing it for a strategy. And you see OKC kind of lost for a while, and you see where they're at now. The Detroit Pistons, which is one of my teams, you see what they did miserable for quite a few years, and now they're starting to see the rainbow in the pot of gold, and hopefully they can get a championship too. But yeah, so what do you think about Trae Young getting traded? I think it's kind of sad that he didn't go for more picks and players, but it does set up a comeback for him. He has to go there, and if he does, it becomes a surprise of the league, kind of like Boston is right now. Which, even though we know they have a good team, but nobody expected them to be this good without JT. Same thing with Trae. He goes there and he surprises the league about their play next year when he comes back. It'll be a pretty good trade. But let me know what you think in the comment section about whether or not, they should have traded him. Do you think he should have went somewhere else? Obviously, I think we need to put a little respect on his name, and he needs to just show out when he comes back. But let me know that. And of course, do you think they should go after Anthony Davis? But as you can see here, guys, we're going to move forward and transition on to the next topic, and that is my guy, Isiah Thomas, the bad boy champion, 2-time champion, finals MVP, former owner, CBA, and a former owner of the league, team president, coach, all that stuff. He's a legend, Hall of Famer. But he's talking about one of the GOATs. And if you know anything about my channel, my favorite player of all time is Isiah Thomas. what he did for the city that I grew up in. I'll always love it. And I know that the young guy over there in Detroit right now has a chance to do some of the same things. But either way, Isiah is talking about Jordan again. And he said, when y'all say who's the greatest, y'all talk about the guy who gave y'all some shoes and warm ups. And obviously, we know there's a little bit of something behind those comments. Jordan came out with his Last Dance documentary about the Bulls' final run. And, he said something in there Isiah didn't like, how much he didn't like Isiah. And he was taken aback because he was in the documentary giving content, giving his thoughts and viewpoints of that era. And he didn't say anything crazy in that documentary. And then, of course, Jordan said what he said about the walk-off and other things the bad boys did to him and the Chicago Bulls. And Isiah just didn't like it. And the fact that he come to find out that Jordan probably had something to do with him being left off the dream team. So with that being said, since then, Isiah has been on a tirade, going on different podcasts and talk about Jordan and saying that Jordan needs to apologize if he didn't mean it. And it doesn't seem like he's going to do that. But I feel like he's gotten his point across. He's been kind of petty with some of his statements. But in this case, Isiah did kind of have a point talking about how, certain generations probably should go with their guys, their players. So LeBron, Steph, KD, he brought that. Now, people pointed out LeBron for the most part because that's in most of the stuff that you read, but also he talked about Steph and KD. So he's saying that people in the newer generation probably should be rooting for those guys as the greatest of all time, and especially LeBron because he has the numbers, he has all the records coming out of here, and Jordan doesn't. But people of an older generation, including myself, I won't say older, but I'm definitely older than the young cats. But they're going to pick Jordan. My favorite has been LeBron, but I don't disrespect Jordan. I know what he means to the league, and I know how great he was. And I'm a Bad Boys Pistons fan, so when he left, it kind of hurt the league. And again, and I'm sure a lot of people missed him playing in the game, and we knew how great he was when he played baseball, and even when he left the other time when he came back with the Wizards. So, if he didn't leave those other two times, his greatness, his stats would be higher. And you got to remember, Jordan's got over 30-something thousand points, and he left twice. And the third time afterwards, of course, he could have played a couple more seasons, maybe, if he wanted to in the back end. But I do understand him saying to go, root for your generation, because if you listen to some of these players like Isiah, like Jordan, like Kareem and Dr. J, they always pick players they grew up on, not players they played against. And so shoot, now some of them are not even picking players of the newer generation. So I get what he's saying, but you got to put respect on Jordan's name. He just wasn't gym shoes and sweatsuits or whatever, warm-ups. He was a great player. He's one of the greatest to ever play. And I always give him that respect. And as you're talking about the gym shoes and warm-ups, he took that to another level. That's the reason why all these gentlemen like LeBron have these name brand, namesake gym shoe deals because of Jordan. Jordan was the one that changed everything. So, and his play on the court was one of a kind. Of course, it depends on your take. People will consider him the GOAT. 6 championships, 6 MVPs, 6 Finals MVPs. Again, he scored over 30,000 points, and he left. He only played definitely a shorter amount of time. So he's a great player. And I just kind of hope that, Isiah would kind of stop talking about him, just move on to another subject. They've had their battles, in the, 80s and 90s. And he got his wins over Jordan, and then Jordan got him on the back end. And Isiah's had a great career as a player. He had a short career too. Imagine if he played a few more years. A lot of people don't know Isiah was the league leader in assists, the all-time leader in assists before he retired. Then he got passed up by Mark Jackson, and Isiah passed up Magic. So he's a great player. He's one of the greatest point guards ever. To me, one of the greatest players. Again, we talked about small guys. Isiah led a team to a championship. One of the only players to ever do that, being the lead. And again, great player, Finals MVP. Should have had that Dream Team nomination to solidify it even more. And he's got a national championship as a player. He's solidified. He doesn't need to be too petty with Jordan. Just don't talk about him. We already said he needs to apologize publicly. So hopefully he, will move on from it. But again, he does have a point about, the generation, picking their players and putting love and respect on their generation. Of course, LeBron being in that GOAT category, GOAT room. It depends on how you feel about him. I know a lot of people are not going to like him. For me, I've been a fan of him for quite a while. I haven't been able to pick no other I got players that I like, but he's my favorite player in the league while, he's still around. But again, Isiah, I just kind of hope that you kind of cut it out on Jordan for a little bit. But let me know what you think. I don't want to be too long-winded on that. Shout out to all those GOAT players right there. And hopefully, again, he doesn't talk about them anymore. But as we transition to that, definitely let me know what you think in the comment section about it. And planned on doing a video about it. I might not. As we move forward, these are the last touch-up things here we're going to talk about. As you can see, yesterday, the Miami Hurricanes beat Ole Miss 31-27 in a come from behind, basically win at the last couple of minutes, drove down the field, scored it. Carson ran into the end zone. They, misdirection pretty much, and he got in. It's going to be interesting to see. I was kind of hoping Ole Miss got it. I wanted to see them kind of rub it in Lane's face, but they didn't get it, and it's still going to be a great story. Carson can go in and try to win a championship, and as you can see here tonight, it'll be Oregon versus Indiana. I'm kind of rooting for Indiana. They're still, to me, the underdogs, even though, they had the great season that they're having. It will be nice to see kind of the blue blood versus the new blood if it's, if it's in the championship game, which will be in Miami, kind of a home game for the Hurricanes. But we'll see what happens. Let me know who you think it is in the comment section that'll win tonight and will win it all. What date is that? I believe the 19th, maybe, for the championship. Let me know what you think there. And as we move on even further, I got to bring a little wrestling in here. TNA is finally coming back to regular television. AMC, at least a bigger brand, bigger company. They're going to be moving to Thursday nights. I believe it's on the 15th. It's great to see. I haven't been able to really watch them like that because you got to dig to try to find the Access channel, which I didn't know TNA, I believe, owns that. And different providers don't have it. And if you cancel, you can't find it anywhere else. And you got to go kind of an illegal route if you want to try to find them. And, that's up to you. I haven't been doing it. But, again, you got to go through hoops to try to find them. And, I was glad to be able to. AMC is going to be on mostly all the packages that you can find. So it'd be good to be able to just tune in and watch, record, do it live. And they got some great talent over there now, some from other companies. And they just got a big deal with AMC. The Hardys are over there. And it's going to be great to see them back on television. Let me know if you're going to check them out. Thursday nights, they're trying to be the number 2 promotion and beat out AEW. And the final story as we transition on, and this will be the end of the show today, is a great story, honestly, and I'm hoping it continues. Delonte West has been sober, man. He's gotten a little help from. I'm not sure who was helping him, but they definitely posted a video of him being sober. He's in good spirits, looking healthy, And, I just hope he, gets back on his feet all the way. Maybe he can be in the big three and things of that nature, or whatever he decides to do. I know he's a baller. I'm sure he still got the skills too. Just got to get himself back ready. He's not too old, right? So just hope it, he continues on his path. And congratulations for him being sober right now and being back on his feet. But that's it, guys. And ladies and gentlemen, and all the people, you are now listening to the sounds of the No Face Sports Show. I am going to sign off. Definitely like, share, subscribe, join the community here at Sports Game Vision. You see, I talk sports, and you can chime in and see what, hey, talk about this, talk about that. Maybe we can even bring you up on the show. And let me know in the comment section about what you saw here, the Trays and Goat talk, and college football and wrestling. And just chime in, and I will be back again. Peace.